Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get you straight to what really matters. And if you've ever dreamt of a career in medicine, you definitely know the journey is tough. But, well, what if you're navigating admissions in a place with a truly unique set of rules? A really specific landscape.
That's exactly it. That's what we're tackling today. We're diving deep into the fascinating and, often surprising world of MBBS and other medical admissions right there in Nagaland.
Right.
We've basically taken all your sources, official notifications, those detailed cutoff analyses, and boiled them down into the crucial, actionable insights for you.
So our mission today is really to unravel all the details, the intricacies of applying to medical programs, specifically in Nagaland. We'll hit everything from the entrance tests, the shifting cutoffs, to those really distinct state-specific rules.
Yeah, should be eye-opening.
Hopefully give you a clear path through what can feel like, well, a maze of information. So let's unpack what makes Nagaland's medical education setting so, well, profoundly unique. When we talk about medical dreams there, it's not like most other states, is it?
No, it really isn't. What's striking, I think, is just how limited the options are within the state itself. Nagaland currently has only one government medical college for MBBS.
Just one. Wow.
That's right, just one. And that single place offers it a grand total of 100 MBBS seats.
Only 100 seats in one college. That's incredibly narrow compared to, well, almost anywhere else. It just paints a picture of intense competition right from the start.
It does.
Does this limited capacity go beyond just MBBS? Like, are other types of medical schools missing too?
Absolutely. It extends further. So beyond that single government MBBS college, Nagaland doesn't have any private medical colleges. None. Nor any dedicated dental colleges, for BDS.
Right.
And for people interested in AUSH courses, that's your Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, Siddha, naturopathy, those traditional Indian medicine systems. Well, the key thing is there are no dedicated colleges for any of those within Nagaland either. So if you're a Nagaland resident wanting to go into those fields, you're definitely looking at, like, migration to neighboring states.
That's a really crucial point. It means if you live in Nagaland, your in-state options are incredibly narrow for pretty much any medical field. And we saw this reflected really starkly in the NEET UG 2024 stray round counseling data, right?
We did, yeah. In that round, Nagaland had this remarkably low vacancy, only 3 seats left.
Just 3.
3. And this isn't just a number. It strongly suggests that those 100 state seats, they get filled almost entirely year after year. It just shows the super high demand and, well, the very limited supply.
So for you, the applicant.
Yeah, for you, the applicant, it means your chances for some last-minute spot are, like, practically zero. It's a very, very tight system.
Okay. So with such limited in-state options and that high demand, the gateway to medical education, whether it's in Nagaland or outside, still funnels through that one big exam, NEET UG.
Absolutely. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, NEET UG, it remains the single entrance exam for all these medical and allied courses across India. So that simplifies one thing for every student. You focus on clearing this one exam.
Right.
One hurdle.
But as we'll see, other complexities then kind of pop up when it gets to the actual admissions part.
You mentioned complexities, and this is where it gets really interesting for Nagaland. They took this uniquely proactive approach this year for NEET UG 2025 that really stood out, didn't they?
They certainly did. Nagaland was, well, genuinely ahead of the curve. They actually released their NEET UG 2025 registration notice for state quota seats way back on May 20th, 2025.
May 20th.
Yep, with online registration starting the very next day, May 21st. What makes this so amazing is that it was significantly before the NEET 2025 result was even expected. That wasn't until June 14th.
That's really unusual. Most states, they sort of wait for the results, right, before kicking off their state processes. What's the strategic impact of this early move for applicants? Well, it's not just some administrative quirk, This advanced approach means Nagaland started collecting all the necessary documents for its state quota much, much earlier.
Okay.
Which contrasts sharply with other states that usually wait for the All India quota, the AIQ, scheduled to be released by the Medical Counseling Committee.
So for the applicant.
For you, the applicant, it means Nagaland demands you be prepared and proactive even earlier than most places. It highlights this unique window you need to know about and act on, like, immediately.
Okay, that early bird strategy is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, let's really dig into the admission process itself. It mostly boils down to 2 main paths, Nagaland State Quota and the All India Quota. And for Nagaland, that state quota acts like a pretty closed system, right?
That's a critical point, yeah. Nagaland largely functions as a closed state for its government medical seats. What this means for you, the listener, is that the state quota is strictly for permanent residents of Nagaland.
Sure.
You need that domicile certificate. If you don't meet their specific requirements, those government MBBS seats are just, well, not an option for you.
So if you're a student from, I don't know, Kerala or Rajasthan, getting into that single government college in Nagaland through the state quota is simply not happening?
Nope, not on the cards.
How does a Nagaland resident actually apply through this state quota then? What's the process?
Okay, so the state admission process starts with online registration. That's on the Directorate of Technical Education Kohima website. There's an application fee, 500 rupees.
Okay, pretty standard fee.
Yeah, and for 2025, the deadline to get those applications in, along with your NEET scorecard and all the necessary documents, was June 21st, 2025.
June 21st. So just a week after the NEET results came out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A really tight window, which just underscores why applicants need to be incredibly organized, like have everything ready to go.
Makes sense. And what kinds of documents are we talking about? What's absolutely essential for that submission?
It's a pretty comprehensive list.
Yeah.
You need your NEET 2025 scorecard, obviously.
Yeah.
Then your 10th and 12th mark sheets, that domicile certificate proving you're a resident,
The crucial one.
the crucial one, plus any applicable caste, subcategory, physical disability, or EWS certificates.
Right.
Also passport-size photos and your fee receipts. And applicants also have to provide this formal declaration, basically swearing that all the info submitted is true. Accuracy is key.
Right, you don't want any slip-ups there. And once those applications are in, the counseling rounds for the state quota, they had a pretty defined timeline for 2025 as well. Gives applicants a clear roadmap.
They do. Round 1 of counseling was scheduled from July 21st to July 30th. Round 2 then followed August 12th to August 20th.
Okay.
Then round 3 from September 3rd to September 10th. And finally, the stray vacancy round, September 22nd to September 26th. Each one had specific final joining deadlines, too.
So a very structured process.
Yeah, it provides clarity, but it also really emphasizes, you need to be ready to act fast when your turn comes.
Okay. So if Nagaland's state quota is this, tightly sealed vault for residents only, what about the alternative? Lots of students, both from Nagaland and other states, look towards the all-India quota, which offers, well, a wider horizon.
Indeed. The AIQ, it covers 15% of the seats in government medical colleges all across India. And the crucial thing here, these seats are domicile-free.
Anyone can apply.
Anyone who qualifies via NEET, yeah.
Yeah.
They're managed centrally by the Medical Counseling Committee, the MCC, and the MCC runs its own 4-round counseling process. Round 1, round 2, round 3, which, used to be called the mop-up round.
Right, I remember that term.
Yeah, it's a crucial stage where they try to fill up any remaining seats. And then there's the stray vacancy round. Now, a really vital point here.
Yeah.
No seats revert to the states after round 2.
Ah, okay, that's important.
Very important. It means if an AIQ seat isn't filled by the end of round 2, it stays within the AIQ system for round 3 and stray. It doesn't go back to the state pool.
That no seats revert rule, that's kind of a game changer for strategy, isn't it? It means you have to be really decisive.
Exactly.
And what about the consequences if you get allotted a seat, but then maybe you change your mind or don't join, or if you accidentally provide wrong information? Sounds like there could be a serious penalty.
Oh, yeah. This is a really serious point to remember. If you're allotted a seat in round 2, or any later round, and you then don't join that institution, you will forfeit your security deposit.
Ouch.
That's the money you pay up front to even participate in the counseling. The same thing happens if your admission gets canceled because maybe the information you gave during registration was wrong, or if you can't produce the required documents at the college. Think of it like a commitment fee you lose.
Right.
And furthermore, once you actually join a seat in round 3, you generally can't resign from it. That makes it a truly final decision point. No turning back easily after that.
Okay, so understanding these two very distinct paths, Nagaland's really guarded state quota and the much broader all-India quota, it naturally brings up a key strategic question. Given Nagaland's unique situation, who really benefits from which pathway, and why does that movement happen?
Well, for Nagaland students, the answer seems pretty clear. With just that one government medical college and only 100 MBBS seats in their home state.
Yeah, very limited.
Very limited.
Yeah.
Many of their top-scoring candidates are naturally pushed to look for opportunities in colleges across India through the AIQ.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of sheer numbers and, maximizing their chances of actually getting a medical seat somewhere.
Makes total sense. And flipping that, for students from other parts of India looking at Nagaland, what's the real picture for them?
Because of Nagaland's really strict domicile rules for its state government medical seats, the opportunities for non-native students in that single government MBBS college are extremely limited, like virtually non-existent.
So realistically, AIQ students aren't getting into Nagaland's government college.
Not through the state quota, no. The only theoretical way in would be through management quota seats, but like we said, there aren't any private medical colleges listed in Nagaland right now, so that path doesn't even exist for MBBS there. It truly is a closed system for those coveted government seats.
Right. Okay, let's pivot a bit and talk about NEET performance and what that might mean for cutoff predictions in Nagaland, especially looking at 2025. What did the NEET 2025 exam analysis tell us? Was it tougher?
Yeah, the feedback from NEET 2025 was pretty consistent, actually. Physics was seen as tough, definitely, and biology was described as lanky.
Okay, tough combo.
Yeah, that combination usually contributes to, well, lower overall scores for candidates across the board,
Yeah.
which in turn directly influences the cutoffs we expect to see.
So a harder paper could mean a slightly lower bar for entry, potentially? Was there anything else happening nationally, like with the number of test takers, that also plays into this?
Yes, actually. Nationally, there was a reduction of about 1 to 2 lakh test takers for NEET 2025 compared to the previous year.
Oh, fewer people took it.
Fewer people, yeah. And at the same time, roughly 2,000 to 3,000 additional MBBS seats were added across the country, mostly from new government colleges opening or existing ones increasing their intake.
Right.
So these two things together, potentially fewer high scores because of the paper and more available seats overall, they tend to create this downward pressure on the cutoffs.
Okay, so that's the backdrop. With that context, what are the actual expected cutoffs looking like for Nagaland State Quota for 2025? Maybe start with the general NEET qualifying cutoffs first.
Sure. So for NEET 2025, just to qualify for counseling, the general cutoff for the general WS category was the 50th percentile. That basically means you had to score higher than half the people who took the test.
And what score was that?
That translated to a minimum score of 144 marks out of the maximum 720. Well, actually, the topper scored 686 this year. For SC, ST, and OBC candidates, the qualifying mark was the 40th percentile, which was a minimum score of 113 marks. But remember, these are just the minimums to be eligible to participate. Doesn't guarantee a seat at all.
Right, just gets you in the door for counseling. So what about the actual predicted cutoffs for getting a seat in Nagaland State Quota, considering everything we've discussed?
Okay, so yeah, given the paper difficulty and those other factors, the predictions for Nagaland State Quota in 2025 are definitely expected to be lower than previous years. For the general ST category, the predicted cutoff range is looking like somewhere around 320 to 330 marks.
320 to 330 for general ST. That's quite specific. What about the backward tribe categories within Nagaland? I know there can be pretty big differences there.
Yeah, for backward tribes, we see even more specific predictions and potentially a really significant drop compared to last year. Now, the exact numbers vary a lot depending on the specific tribe.
Okay.
But what's really crucial to understand is that for some tribes, maybe like, say, Pikir, the cutoffs could drop as low as maybe 150 to 170 marks.
Wow, that low.
Yeah, which would represent a huge drop, maybe 40 to 50 marks, or even more in some cases from their 2024 cutoffs. It really highlights how incredibly tailored the admissions are within Nagaland, reflecting the state's unique reservation policies. It gives very distinct opportunities depending on your specific tribal group.
So is there a particular score range that's shaping up to be like a hot zone this year, where the competition might be especially packed?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That 350 to 400 mark zone. It's not just a range, it's probably going to be the real hot zone this year.
Okay.
Our analysis suggests there'll be a big cluster of candidates right in that bracket. So if your score lands there, distinguishing yourself, perfect application, documents all in order, really smart choices in counseling, that's going to be absolutely critical. That's likely where the toughest fights for those limited seats will happen.
Right. And how do these predictions stack up against, say, Nagaland State toppers in the last few years? Because we saw that score going up, right? So this is a big change if it's now dropping.
You're absolutely right. The Nagaland State topper scores had been trending upwards. It was 535 in 2023, and then an impressive jump to 588 in 2024.
Yeah, quite high.
But for 2025, because of how tough the paper was perceived to be, the prediction is that the top scores will likely drop back down into the range of maybe 450 to 480 mark.
Okay, so even the top end is affected.
Yeah, it reflects that overall lower scoring trend we saw across the board, affecting everyone, even the highest achievers.
Okay, moving beyond MBBS then, what's the situation for other medical programs for Nagaland students? You mentioned there were some unique challenges for those looking at non-MBBS options?
Indeed. Like we touched on earlier, Nagaland just doesn't have dedicated colleges for BDS, dentistry, or any of the various AU-ish courses, BHMS, BUMS, BAUs located within the state itself.
None at all.
None. So this means very clearly that if a Nagaland student wants to pursue any of these fields, they have to seek admission in colleges outside of Nagaland. There's just no in-state option for these specific programs.
So even though they have to leave the state to study these, is there still cutoff data available for Nagaland ST candidates who got seats in these courses in other states? Like, what did it take last year?
Yes, we do have some data from 2024. For Nagaland ST candidates who secured seats outside the state, for BDS, the cutoffs were around 384 down to 375 for the normal ST category, and maybe 368 to 367 for backward tribes. For BHMS homeopathy, it was roughly 370 down to 369 for normal ST. We saw a BAMS Ayurveda candidate, 372, and a Bunali Unani candidate around 368. So still needing decent scores, you know?
Yeah, still competitive. And for 2025, are those AYS cutoffs expected to drop too, kind of following the MBBS trend because of the NEET paper?
Yes, that's the general prediction. For 2025 AYS cutoffs for Nagaland students looking for seats elsewhere, the expectation is a drop into maybe the 280 to 320 marks range.
280, 320. Okay.
It reflects that overall trend of lower scores in NEET 2025, impacting pretty much all the medical disciplines, not just MBBS.
Makes sense. Finally, let's just quickly touch on the money side and the practical stuff. Beyond that 500 rupee counseling fee, what else should aspiring medical students from Nagaland be thinking about financially?
Well, beyond the state counseling registration fee, it's crucial to understand the broader financial picture for any medical program in India, right? You've got tuition fees, hostel charges, caution deposits, other miscellaneous expenses.
The usual list.
The usual list. Now, specific figures for Nagaland's single government college weren't readily available in the sources we looked at, but those are the typical costs you'd need to budget for. This is where doing your own research, contacting the institution directly, really becomes important.
Yeah, you need to nail down those specifics. Are there support systems like scholarships that students from Nagaland can access to help with these costs?
Absolutely. There are various scholarships available for MBBS students in Nagaland. These can come from, government schemes, sometimes private organizations chip in, or even college-specific scholarships offered by the institution itself.
Okay, good to know.
Students should definitely check with the college, check government portals, see what options are out there. They can make a really big difference.
And what about those other things people sometimes forget, like stipends during internship or maybe service bonds you have to sign after you graduate? Do those apply in Nagaland?
Yeah, those factors like how much stipend you get during your internship year, whether there's a bond amount you have to agree to, meaning you promise to serve in a certain area, often rural, for a period after graduating, or specific rural service requirements, these can vary a lot, not just by state, but sometimes even between different institutions within a state.
So you need to check carefully.
Super carefully. These are critical details. Prospective students really need to verify directly with the college or the state authority because they can have major long-term implications for your career path, where you can work, for how long, etc.
Absolutely. Okay, so to kind of wrap things up and bring it all back, what are the main takeaways from our deep dive into Nagaland's pretty unique medical admissions scene?
Well, I think we've seen that Nagaland offers this really unique and highly competitive landscape for MBBS, mainly because it has just that single government medical college with only 100 seats.
Right, the scarcity is key.
Scarcity is key. NEET UC is the only way in, the sole gateway. And domicile, absolutely crucial for those state quota seats. It effectively makes Nagaland a closed state for those government MBBS positions. Your preparation, starting super early with Nagaland's early registration, is just vital.
And the NEET 2025 predictions show a definite shift, right? Expected lower cutoffs across the board, which might offer a bit of breathing room, maybe. But the competition within those narrower score bands will still be really fierce.
Exactly. It just shows how admissions can fluctuate based on exam difficulty, the number of applicants, number of seats. It's dynamic. And crucially, let's not forget the reality for non-MBBS medical education.
Yeah, the AUSH and BDS situation.
Right. Nagaland students aiming for BDS or AUS courses have to look outside the state. Those colleges just aren't there within Nagaland, which means, really, a broader strategic outlook is essential for any medical aspirant from the region, no matter which field they're targeting.
Yeah, it really highlights the need for a truly strategic, informed, and, like you said, proactive approach for students from Nagaland thinking about medicine. So, maybe a final thought for our listeners. Given this highly specific nature of medical admissions in Nagaland, that single government college, the strict domicile rules, how might aspiring medical professionals best plan their journey? Not just for MBBS, but across all the medical fields, to really navigate the competitive landscape of India's diverse states effectively.
That's the big question, isn't it?
It's definitely a challenge, but hopefully with the right information, like what we discussed today, it's one you can prepare for.
Absolutely. Preparation is key.
And that's all the time we have for this deep dive into Nagaland's medical admissions. Thanks for joining us.